These two are insufferable. Andy is just flat out rude, arrogant, and condescending. He also barely knows what he's talking about on the topics and is incredibly biased. Just wait, 'cause then it's my turn.
Oh my God.
Zack is a raging Trumper and racist and also incredibly biased. Their dynamic is not enjoyable to watch. Andy just scolds Zack the entire time like he's an annoying little kid. It's uncomfortable. Why would anyone want to support either of these people is beyond me. I wish I could give it 0 stars. Well, bitch, instead of giving us 0 stars, you gave us one and a whole soliloquy. So, fuck off.
You had enough time to write that, or you could have spent it on an ice cream date or something else.
You could have spent it listening to another
Damn.
Go listen to the last Culturistas if you want something basic and boring.
It's the Pop Report.
So juicy.
It's the Wonder Years. It's the Wonder Gal. It's the Zachary Peter of it all.
Hello. Hello,
Guess
hello,
where I
hello.
am today? I am in my dining room again because
Well, you were in your dining room on Wednesday.
this is the brighter side of the dining room. That dining room I'll probably have to be moving out of in a month. So
Is that really happening? Are you really moving out?
yeah, I have to move. You know, landlords suck. They put a note on my door. They could have emailed it. They could have given me a phone call. They just slapped a notice on my door saying we're increasing your rent $400 a month, and I was like, okay.
You just moved in there.
I just moved in a year ago. Like, you're doing the maximum? Okay. Go off, queen. You got me. You really got me. What's new with you?
Just booked and busy,
Booked and busy, and
trying to stay alive.
you know, we should go back to Spotify in the time that our studio is undergoing some
Yeah,
changes.
we need an update on what's happening.
Yeah, I know. The whole world is upside down. Things are moving. We have sad news starting out our podcast. I don't even the days that go in between each episode, groundbreaking news happens. And obviously hot out the gate in this podcast, Michelle Trachtenberg, she passed, and it's so sad. So I've never seen so many people flood timelines of just like Buffy references and more, and people were just so shocked. She was so young, and it's everyone has just confusion of like what happened. But her family, in this new news that has been announced since her passing, her family's not getting an autopsy. She was 39 years old, and it's no clear understanding of what's been going on.
Well, she's been sick for some time, right?
Right.
So I think I heard it had something to do with her liver. I mean, the family, I think it's a little strange that they don't want to do an autopsy. I mean, I'm assuming it's probably because they know what caused this, that there's not a need to do an autopsy. And even the police reports have come out and said that there's no suspicious foul play. So I'm assuming she was sick for some time. They were expecting this, and yeah, like I heard she had been sick, and there was some liver issues that she was having.
Yeah. It is sad when, you know, the family's like choosing not to do an autopsy because they kind of know. But there are situations where, you know, families go back and they say, should we have done the autopsy and seen if there was something else there that we didn't know about, that like had started. So it's sad because obviously this came out of the blue for a lot of fans. Obviously some knew she was in and out of being sick, but it's just a tragic, sad passing.
Yeah, she was young. She was only 39.
I know. There's been a lot of people who are like, I'm going to rewatch Buffy. I'm going to rewatch like a bunch of these different series, tributes to Gossip Girl. So a lot of different things.
Yeah, I saw a lot of different. Sarah Michelle Gellar did a really sweet tribute with a bunch of different photos from the set of Buffy, because obviously she played Dawn, who is Buffy's sister, throughout the series. I think she was on from 2000 to 2003, and then she came on to, was it the second season of Gossip Girl? I think she was on from 2008 to 2012, and she even did the Gossip Girl reboot. I think she did 4 episodes in the second season of the reboot. So Georgina Sparks definitely, has a lot of fans and support out there. Blake Lively posted a tribute. I know a lot of people were kind of picking that apart. It didn't read the most genuine from my side of, like, me looking at it. It seemed it didn't seem entirely genuine from Blake, but the other cast members had really sweet tributes and montages of
Mm-hmm.
different photos from behind the scenes, and she's definitely somebody that was beloved and will definitely be missed.
What else do you know about her before? I mean, I'm not as much aware of like the Buffy franchise. I didn't watch Gossip Girl, unfortunately. You were one who's been keeping up a lot of different things, but what was leading up to her passing? Like, what was she up to in the last months, year?
She kind of gone a little quiet, but I guess OK Magazine picked up that she had, because obviously the last 2 months since the end of December,
Mm-hmm.
um, she a lot of people want the cast of Gossip Girl, like we talked about the other day, Lee and Meester. We want people to say something about their relationship with Blake, because from what we've all heard, nobody seems to be like nobody is standing beside Blake from the cast of Gossip Girl. And we've heard for years rumors that she was difficult to work with, the cast didn't get along with her. I've heard the same thing specifically in relation to Michelle. But so with Michelle specifically, though, there was a post that she made on Instagram back in January, and the caption read, "It takes a lot of strength to see through all the bullshit and some dark glasses." And it was a photo of her in New York wearing some dark glasses. And then there was somebody in the comments that said, "Would love to see you release a statement on the Blake drama, or if this is a direct statement, haha, you're so fabulous." Because obviously she says seen through the drama. She has sunglasses on.
Mm-hmm.
This is as things are really kind of breaking out. This was after Justin Baldoni had decided to sue Blake Lively. And so she had responded to that.
Surprising.
Right. She responded saying, "Gosh, I'm busy worrying about real world news and families who have no homes anywhere from the LA fires, but you do you," with the rolling eyes emoji. So it seems like she wanted no part of this drama. It doesn't seem like she's taking Blake's allegations all that seriously, considering she says that there are real issues in the world. And from the stories that I've heard of Michelle and Blake's relationship, they didn't seem to have a good relationship, and they didn't seem to get along very well on the set of Gossip Girl, which I think has a lot of other cast members questioning Blake's statement.
Mm-hmm.
And just the reference of, like, we saw when Shannon Doherty passed away, Alyssa Milano, they'd been in a feud since they starred on Charmed together. And Alyssa Milano wrote like a very short and sweet message, basically just saying, listen, it's no surprise, like it's not a shock to anybody that we've had a complicated history, but at the end of the day, I still have a lot of respect for her and, her dedication to her craft and the work she did as an actress, and I hope she rests in peace. Simple to the point.
Did other co-stars share anything when it came to Michelle's passing that were like from Gossip Girl?
Yeah, a lot of them paid tribute. I mean, I don't know all of the character. I never watched Gossip Girl, but I know the two that people are expecting to hear from are Leighton Meester and Penn Badgley, neither of which I believe at the time that we're recording this have spoken out. But a lot of the other characters have posted really sweet tributes, and they have a ton of like photos with Michelle. I mean, even Sarah Michelle Gellar, she starred with her back. The last they were on screen together was in 2003. So that's over 20 years at this point, and Sarah still had even more recent photos of the two of them together. There was a really sad photo that she posted with Shannon Doherty on one side and Michelle on the other side, and it was just sad. She also just recently lost Shannon Doherty, who she was very close with.
Right. Well, interesting. I mean, has there anyone who's not spoken about like her passing? I know a lot of co-stars have like, said it's a tragic thing, but like there are some times when people don't share statements, don't share like condolences, but this is all very so fresh.
I mean, we haven't heard from Leighton Meester yet. We haven't heard from Penn Badgley. I think those are the two that people are waiting to post something. But like, I also understand, like, if this was somebody you cared about, if this was somebody that, meant something to you, there's not always a knee-jerk reaction to post something publicly.
Right.
Like, you may want to process the news privately. And I also just think they want to give her, this moment of remembrance, right? Where it doesn't need, because when you post any sort of statement, then it becomes Sarah Michelle Gellar posts a tribute, and that becomes the headline, and it's more about the tribute rather than it is remembering,
Right.
the person that's passed.
No, I completely agree with that, because that's why I was like, people focus in on the relationship of this person with others and like what was leading up to their death. And so it starts to really pick up a lot. And it's not just like remembering this person. It's very much onto like what is next.
Yeah.
But that's nice, because I'm hoping that some people will do something for her at the appropriate time. What when it comes to those who haven't said anything or someone who has said little. Hopefully there's something that they all do that is nice in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
But in terms of our podcast, there's a couple other things that are going on. It is obviously Friday when this comes out. We have a lot to get into. We have a lot of other things that are on the docket. We talked about a few things in our last episode that people are like, who and why? We talked about Alix Earle last episode. There's some updates in this podcast about that. We have some traders predictions, and we have some news about Euphoria, surprisingly, and others. But I want to get to a few reviews and comments coming from our last episode. Speaking of, there was a comment on Spotify, and someone said, I agree with y'all's stance on Alex versus Alex. This is Rachel Fratty, she said on Spotify. She said, I stopped listening to Call Her Daddy after the hurricane in the Carolinas, and since then, throughout most of any tragedy, Alex has proved to be very tone deaf. Ooh, this review. This is more of like a feedback than a review. This person wanted to say she peaked in 2020 and 2021 when each week was meeting with therapists or specialists to give advice on dating and personal relationships. Now it's like she's regressed into the party girl from Boston when she's literally 30, and she only cares about viral moments, not connecting with her audience. Well, I didn't think our podcast was going to start out like this. Damn. Should we just jump to our general news if we're going to write out some of these?
Let's dive into Alex.
Comments. Okay, so aside from Marley saying I looked really good in a jumper in the last episode, we were going to talk about this Alix Earle and Alex Cooper situation. So basically, as you recall in the last episode, we briefly had gotten to, at least on social, you might have seen it too, Alix Earle left Unwell, which is Alex Cooper's podcast network. Alex Cooper went to SiriusXM. As of late, we've obviously talked in the podcast about that initiative and how a lot of it is kind of dicey right now. But Alix Earle leaving the Unwell network, as soon as we had finished recording, I think you literally sent me one of those, called it, clocked it, and I was like, not this bitch. No one likes it. I told you so, bitch. But Zack sent me a message, and it was Dave Portnoy who posted on social media him with a screenshot. And the screenshot was Alix Earle's phone number. They talked for almost, it seemed, 30 minutes on the phone. That's enough to go over a few things, it seems like. But people remember when Alex Cooper left her deal with Barstool Sports, it was with Dave Portnoy. And when she was leaving, she put in her caption, I know what to do. And she had left. Now, Dave Portnoy loves to fucking troll. So he posted on this screenshot with this green screen of him drinking a little drink, said, I know what to do. And it was Alix Earle's phone number that he had talked to for a while. So people lost it. People were like, is Alix Earle going to Dave Portnoy? What is happening? And then we got an update from Alix Earle. I'm not sure if you saw any of this, Zack.
No, tell me.
No, take the floor. So in our last episode, we said, okay, is Alix Earle really going to continue podcasting? Does this make sense? Some people were like, this doesn't feel like it's authentic to her. This doesn't feel like it fits. Maybe it's not her interests. She had been with Unwell for a while. But some reports had come out about what was going on behind the scenes. And allegedly, when it came down to business development, Alex and Alex did not get along to the point where their friendship really got compromised. Apparently, Alix Earle's dad got involved with a lot of some business making decisions and was not liking what Unwell was doing overall as a brand. So these are the reports that have come out. We don't know, obviously, if the podcast is going anywhere, if it's going to Dave Portnoy, but Alix Earle did mention in a video she posted online that she has had interest in producing an alcohol line of some sort. She went on to say in this like Get Ready With Me video that she has tried so many different brands of alcohols, sampled things, been asked to be a spokesperson for so many alcohol brands that she's like, I'm tired. I really want to get in the space. And she said, now I can finally tell you guys I'm investing in an alcohol brand. She said it's been a brand that's been around for a while, but she said that she's always wanted to make an alcohol line ever since she got out of college. Unclear what
Yeah,
that
girl.
means, but it could mean a variety of things. I mean, like, I think a lot of people have dived into headfirst, like the CPG consumer product good realm. And to go into alcohol, that's an interesting market. You saw Kylie Jenner, right, go into like Sprinter. And so like we haven't really heard too much about Sprinter since it's,
Flop.
I mean, say what it is.
Flop.
We haven't heard too much. We've heard Kendall Jenner 818. Like you think of notorious alcohol brands, and then you think of subtle people. Like you associate Casamigos with George Clooney. You associate certain brands with certain figures. But I think it's a little hard to say this is a brand with Alix Earle. Like there's nothing I can tap into immediately unless we're a different age and demo market and as a really unique product for me to attach Alix Earle as a spokesperson or as an investor to an alcohol brand.
Yeah, I don't think she has enough like brand um
Like not integrity, but like
recognition.
yes,
She doesn't have enough brand recognition for people to associate that with her. I mean, I read this as I thought she was going to probably do a canned seltzer, similar to Kylie Jenner. And the
makes
reason
sense.
Kylie Jenner's seltzer flopped is because Kylie doesn't care about it. At least Kendall, whether she cares about 818 or not, she very much is always promoting it and trying to put it out there. Whereas Kylie does the bare minimum. The reason Kylie Cosmetics was so successful is because it was something that Kylie was doing herself. She connected with her audience on Snapchat. She really sold them as to why. I mean, and listen, I had a wine line, a canned wine line that I had for almost 2 years until my contract ended, and we decided to try and see other partners. But like even in that, I don't think that that would have been successful, and it was. Every time we did a limited edition drop on the podcast, it
Mm-hmm.
sold out, and it was because one, people associate me with drinking, and I tapped it into the live streaming aspect of my podcast of like, this is No Filter Wine. Every Thursday night we're going to do a live stream. We were already having cocktails together, and I was like, now I'm going to create a product that we can share. And it was a D2C product that people were able to buy online, and then we could share it together virtually as we were doing this live stream. And then I went on tour. We brought the wine on tour, and it became a thing until eventually, like I said, my contract ended. But when it comes to Kylie Jenner's seltzer, like nobody believes that she genuinely likes, or what is it, Sprinter.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Alix Earle can tap into that market. I think Tana Mojo, that's how you say it, right? Tana Mojo,
Tana, yeah,
Anna Mojo. Yeah,
Tana.
she well, she was one of, there were only four like creators that the company that I was with partnered with, and Tana was one of them, and there were two others, and I was the fourth. And she did really well with hers. I think she called it Buzz, or was something. Um, it was like a bright yellow can, and like she
Mm-hmm.
did well because she was able to sell it to her audience directly. And if you have the audience, they're going to buy the product. But when it comes to Alix Earle, I mean, I don't know too much about her, and I wasn't too familiar with her prior to her being the big announcement for Alex Cooper to
Mm-hmm.
bring in. But I think this is a pretty big loss for Alex Cooper. I'm surprised Alex didn't jump into this seltzer market sooner, and that she decided to go with Unwell Water. Um,
It's the hydrating water. It's available at Target and other retailers. I've seen people who've tried it and they've even been like, this is not great.
it's like the Propel. Do you remember when Propel
Mm-hmm.
did their flavored waters in the
Yeah.
blue bottle with the twist cap?
Mm.
And like it was gross.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, it comes down to like again, brand recognition. Do you resonate with this person trying to sell a product like that? I think maybe Alix Earle's in this. I am the hot girl, and she's obviously had the Alix Earle ring light. So
Yeah.
like people like coin her with that. So it makes sense for her to kind of be in this market where she did the Carl's Jr. ad, and it makes sense to the demographic of like hot girl, fun, aloof,
Yeah.
around, like, let's have a good time. So, whatever alcohol move it's going to be, it has to be in line with that brand. And that's going to be an interesting move for her, whatever she's doing. Maybe it's in partnership with Dave Portnoy. That's my other guess.
I could see them launching a beverage together, like a canned seltzer, and I think that that would be smart. I think the Barstool audience and my understanding of Alex's audience, I think that would be a hit, and it would be
Yeah.
a great, clap back at Alex Cooper, who really kind of burned Barstool. I mean, listen, props to her. She blew up and she ran with the Spotify deal, but like she really did kind of leave Barstool in the dust and didn't make them look amazing in her departure. Um,
I mean, it's interesting because Dave also bought Barstool back, and like you look at
Yeah.
like where the brand has been, and now Dave's like, let me try to resurrect with new talent. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. But she has said notably, it is a brand that's been around for a while. Could be
Splinter.
alluding to a Barstool Sports is that brand that's been around for a while.
Maybe.
So
Yeah.
maybe she's investing in Barstool
I think
Sports.
I think that would make sense if they go into business together. I mean, Barstool needs to find a way to reinvent themselves. They can't do what they were doing back in 2019 when they had the Call Her Daddy podcast.
And I
I
guarantee
mean,
that's probably what's going to happen is the ultimate troll to Alex Cooper is having Alix Earle come back, have Alix Earle come and invest and be the new Alex Cooper.
and I can see that happening, honestly. I can really see Alex being, the thing that revives Barstool with that
And
audience that they
like you
lost.
say, called it, clocked it. Let
Hmm.
me know. Let me know when that news drops, and you can say, Andy, you were right. And I'll be like, you know what, Zach, you never said that before. Thank you.
Hmm.
Well, that's our general news. Thank you for our reviews and comments for diving into that segment. If you obviously love more stories, you have to subscribe. But in terms of our other general news, we have a few things in the pipeline. We have your favorite man, Travis Kelce, saying he's going to be returning to football for another season. I know this is the news you wanted to hear.
Retirement is coming.
Retirement.
Listen, Taylor Swift, the winter is coming. Retirement, like it's going to be a total Tom Brady situation. Calling it now. He's going to leave Taylor. He's eventually going to retire from football, and he's going to pivot into Hollywood.
I saw this comment that was like, Tom Brady calls out Travis Kelce for saying that he is too invested in his relationship with Taylor Swift to have retained like that win. And so there was a joke going around of like, I think either Travis said it or it's just like a meme in general, but someone's like, if Tom Brady focused on his wife more, he'd still have a wife.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's a kind of fun analogy. Wherever that came from, I'm not sure if that actually came from
I think that
both
was a
your mouths.
joke that was
But
made at his roast.
yeah, like that. I think people are looking at this as also like, if you're Travis Kelce, you're going to
Mhm.
retire. You probably want to retire on a win.
Mhm.
That's a big ego thing to
Well,
say.
that's
Like,
not this year.
no, it's not this year. It's like, do you want to retire on a win because that's going to make your ego feel real good going into retirement and not wonder, should I come back? Should I do it again? So I think that's probably where we're seeing this. He'll probably say another one until he wins and say, I'm done. But I thought you'd have a little interesting tiff with that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, his time is coming. He doesn't want to do football anymore. He's already become a celebrity and he's doing Ryan Murphy movies and he's on stage at Taylor's Eras tour. That like he likes that. He wants to pivot more into that. And I think he's done with football, but like you said, he wants to end on a high. But I think he's going to end up dating like a model or something next. He's not going to last with Taylor Swift.
Well, big sweaty boy, tracking models, sounds like the American dream.
Yeah, but I'm just hoping. I know we had this what was it, his podcast with his brother where they
In the
came
Heights.
out and there was like the controversy about whether or not they wash their feet and they're
Mhm.
just like, no, I don't scrub my feet. I let the soap when I take a shower drip down and I let that kind of clean my feet. And people were like so grossed out that they don't wash their feet.
It's
But now we
funny to
have,
hear straight men and how they like shower and clean and their habits and like
I know, because now we
that's
have Dylan Efron,
yeah,
everybody's favorite cast member on The Trader, who's talking about how he thinks we shower too often.
you
And
know,
he thinks we over soap everything, and I'm like, Dylan, you're gonna ruin your your your
your cute boy
riz.
charm. Yeah, I'm like everyone's real too comfortable these days. I can tell you the number of
Do you
times I've
shower
held
every day,
I shower every day. Correct.
multiple times a day, or only once a day?
So Dylan's interview was this with people at the variety like party? Like where was this interview?
I think that's where it was.
He like it sounded saying, we
No,
showered
no, it was
too.
it was an Instagram live, so I'm not sure
Mm.
where the live was happening, but I think it was like a people, and it was an Instagram live.
But it seems like he's saying, I think showering is fine. Like, let's say the act of rinsing water on you. It sounds like he's not as much in line with, I use soap when I do that. He's like, I swim. There's chlorine in my body, so like it like
Yeah.
rinses off like dirt and more. And everyone's like, don't you want to rinse that off, like the chlorine and other things? And he's like, I don't know. Like our bodies are, pretty naturally self-sufficient, and
Yeah.
so he is a nature boy. You have to
Very
look at it that
granola.
way. You have to
Yeah.
look at like I think also spends some time on like his boat in Marina Del Rey. I think I saw his Instagram stories. He's going to Trader Joe's and back to his little boat life. Maybe he lives on a boat, maybe he doesn't. I think this fits his brand. I think he also might be one of those people where you can get away with a shower not as often. There's people like us where like if we don't shower, we fucking reek and like you feel it. The oil, the like Tommy Lee doesn't shower for a week. Remember that story? He doesn't shower for a week and his woman still loves it. He's hot as fuck. That's what she says. In this situation, I feel like Dylan Efron probably fits in that group of people who I don't know what he smells like. I don't know how oily he is up close, but he probably fits into that demo of people who don't need to shower every day. And I'm kind of jealous. Like, sometimes I'm like, I don't want to shower. I'm like, ugh, not gonna lie.
Well, I also see him as like one of those people that doesn't use deodorant. They use like the Rock, to like absorb the oils, and like
A
if you don't
loofah?
use what?
A
No,
loofah?
it's a rock, and you do the rock under your armpit, and it like absorbs, it like balances the pH under your armpits. But like they also say, like the less you like with washing your hair or using deodorant, like the less you do those things, the more your body's natural pH kind of balances, and then your hair isn't so oily because it balances out. Same thing with like deodorant. If you don't wear deodorant, after a while you stop smelling. So it could be that he's just super granola, that he
What a
doesn't
fucking
over
time.
sanitize.
What a
Ashton
fucking
Kutcher
time.
and Mila Kunis also remember they were like a big fan of not showering
Then there's the
ever.
girls who like to burn their glands under their armpits so they don't sweat. I'm like, girl, it's gonna come out in other places of your body just because it's gonna come out there.
Or it just builds up in your body, and that's how you get sick.
I gotta look into that. But that's our general news. What a little wind up for our day. In terms of our
How
music news, it's
fun.
pretty quick. I've seen a couple of people talking about a specific few artists when it comes to them changing over the years. So I'm not sure if you saw this, but
I
Bebe
did.
Rexha just hit back at anybody who has basically over the years talked about her weight. So we know that Bebe Rexha was in a relationship with her ex, and like
G-Eazy.
what?
G-Eazy?
No, no.
MGK. Who
No,
was it?
it not any of those men. Um, I'll have to check on that in a second who that man actually was, but she's no longer with him. But she reacted to a comment, Bebe Rexha, recently, and responded to fans saying she's unbothered by a lot of comments that go along for her
Did you
weight.
see the comment?
I'm gonna get to this.
Oh, okay.
So she was in Dubai for a charity performance, and she went live on Instagram and read comments from viewers. The comment said, "She looks like Marilyn Monroe after she ate Lizzo." People are mean. People really go.
That's a savage.
That's a
such
fucking savage
read.
comment. That's not a
Yeah.
nice one. So I think that would definitely get anybody riled up. And like even reading that out loud, I'm like, I feel yucky reading that. That's not like oh, she looks different or like she looks beautiful. Like there are people who say like subtly that people have changed,
She's
fluctuated.
so brave.
So brave. This one, to also associate another person in here, your response has to also be really good to like make sure you don't piss off anybody else. You have Marilyn Monroe and you have Lizzo. Like
I don't think Marilyn Monroe is going to be getting upset about
Marilyn
it.
Monroe's estate maybe not being upset. So people in the room could hear her gasp, or no, could be her gasping after she read the comment. And so she said, honestly, who cares? That's a fucking hater, like bored in their life. And, she said, I just got back from Dubai. I did an amazing charity event. It was beautiful. And she's more focused on like everything else she has in life. But she's like, I don't give a fuck. I know my body's changed. Like,
Yeah, she
things
should
have
have like
happened.
just been like, yeah, and Lizzo was delicious, and what?
That would live.
No
Her full quote
scraps.
says, number one, I'm unbothered. Number two, I am very aware of everything. I know I've gained weight. I know that I've been through a lot. I know that people know my songs, but don't know me and haven't gotten the recognition I've deserved. She took ownership of it. She took ownership of her moment. But I think people have really poked fun at a lot of the girls. Even Selena Gomez just had like comments going around about her weight and like her appearance, and other celebrities even like chimed in for people to be nice about Selena Gomez. So I'm trying to remember the exact celebrity, but I think it was, I want to say Nick Jonas, but
Nick Jonas called Selena Gomez fat.
no, like be kind and be
Oh,
nicer.
oh, didn't he used to date her?
Oh, Taylor Lautner. Sorry, I wrong name. Taylor Lautner took to Instagram
Oh.
and said that people need to be nicer and people need to be kind. But it was a side by side photo of Selena Gomez from 2024 to 2025, and people were like,
Oh, that's not nice.
people were looking at her, being like, "Your face has changed, your shape, your figure." And so his full quote even was, "It's cruel. It's a cruel world full of hate out there. You can never please everyone, nor should you have to. In my experience, it doesn't make the word sting less. It just refocuses you onto what matters. And it sure isn't the shape, color, or appearance of your body. Daily reminder to all of us to never forget how beautiful you are inside and out, and to be a bit nicer." So I think the girls have gotten poked around a little bit, and whether they're standing up for themselves or the men are standing up for them, I think that we're seeing a lot of people poke at the girls
Well,
these days.
I think it's because we're also in this Ozempic culture where like now it's like becoming super skinny is like the aspiration that when somebody gains a few pounds, even if it's just 10 pounds, like it's like, oh my God, like it's so much more, you know, we're not used to seeing anybody gain weight anymore, which can happen naturally as you age. We're just used to celebrities getting like smaller and smaller, like Christina Aguilera, because of this Ozempic craze. And so I think, I don't know, it's going to be weird to see where this goes because we had this trend of like being super skinny back in the early 2000s, and then that kind of went away, and we had this
Heroin
body
chic.
positivity trend. And now, we're kind of getting back to that weird emaciated look.
We're getting back to 2003, and heroin chic is coming back.
Yeah.
So, I don't know about that one. In terms
What
of
do we
other
have in
news,
our
Mr.
watch and our
Zachary,
skip?
you want to go to watch or skip?
Do we have anything else?
I mean, no.
Yeah, let's go to
I
watch
was
or
like,
skip.
no. I was like, it's been a day. So, what do you want to hit in our watch or skip first?
Well, I saw that White Chicks is coming back. I know Heather McDonald is very excited about this.
Oh, Miss Heather McDonald would be excited about this. White Chicks, yes, coming back. The film, it seems like, will start production after Scary Movie, or will start development of some sort. So the focus right now, obviously, the brothers like really want to focus on the Scary Movie franchise. White Chicks obviously was very notorious as well. One comes before the other. Scary Movie, they've done a lot of adaptations. They've done a lot of spin-offs. It seems like this is their focus first. Also, it seems like if you need to do a sequel of any sort, it's going to need some time.
Yeah.
It's really going to need to be fleshed out because people say, like, does it really need a sequel? And then there's a conversation of how would you do this in the 2020s? There were definitely a few things in there you're like, we can't get away with this in this day and age. So they really need to figure out how are they going to bring this into something that fits within our times, but also is still remaining that like that fun,
I think
fun,
they have
witty
to go all
pickiness.
in. I think they have to. I mean, it was like Dave Chappelle when he went and did his Netflix special, and it like became the talk of the town because it was so polarizingly shocking. But all it did was make people tune back in, and ultimately didn't hurt his reputation at the end of the day. I mean, there was a lot of outcry, but I think it ultimately, kind of brought back that shock value comedy. And I think that's why we were able to have the Brady roast, and that's why Nikki Glazer was able to come forth and have her moment. And we were able to see a lot of the jarring comments that came out of that Brady roast, and it's because we had to kind of shock people again, and it was like that electric shock that kind of took everybody out of that cancel culture hypersensitivity. And I think Scary Movie is going to completely flop if they don't just lean in. And that's, I think, what made Scary Movie. Joan Rivers was always so good about that, about saying that like we need to take these terrible things and be able to laugh at them. Otherwise, we sit around and we're just going to cry about them, and we're going to allow them to hold pain and allow them to control us. And I think, that's why we've seen a lot of these reboots kind of crash and burn and not really land or stick the landing because people tried to over police or be too careful with not offending anybody. And I think we just have to be okay with learning how to laugh at ourselves again and learning how to laugh at, these hard things in life, because that's ultimately what's going to soften those blows.
Well,
So I think,
Dave Chappelle one's a little different than the white chicks example here, but I mean, you went on a tangent of more stand up and more other things. I think it's more so just like, how do you do number one a sequel only 20 years later and have it still land to the original hype? Number two, obviously it's on the nose, like black dudes dressing up as white girls. So it's like, what does that? How can you carry that, still have its integrity in this day and age, and still have some jokes that are like, holy fucking shit, like they went there, without being, let's say, racist, misogynist, whatever, but like you can still go there and drop a funny, shocking joke.
yeah, I think people forget though that racism and misogyny are rooted in hatred, and we've so misused those words in recent years and diluted what real racism and misogyny are. And we've then eliminated, being able to find that humor in things again. And I think that that's what made Scary Movie, like, it was so shock value, and I stand by my comment about Dave Chappelle, because we needed that culture shock, and people needed to, have that jolting moment in order for the culture. I mean, that's what brought forth Netflix doing stand up again and having again the Brady roast, where some of those jokes were ruthless. I mean, they had the joke, against Kevin Hart. They tapped into stereotypes and they tapped into things that made people uncomfortable, and people were able to finally learn how to laugh at these things again without being so hypersensitive. And you needed somebody like Dave Chappelle to be that lightning rod to kick that door way far open in order for people to then walk through those doors again. There was a reason Joan Rivers was able to get away with that type of stuff, because she wouldn't back down, and I think that type of comedy is what people are looking for again. And I think, White Chicks and Scary Movie, they have to stop caring about what the audience is going to say, because you're always going to have a fraction of the audience that's going to be offended by something, and they're always going to be the loudest on social media. And I think the general public is just in a place where, we want to stop having to feel like we're walking on eggshells over every little thing, and stop feeling like we're going to offend every single person, because then I think that hinders any sort of real conversations or dialogue.
Well, I wonder really if you can then put the white girls in the car saying the N word in 2020s. I think that's the only one everyone's like, I wonder how far you can
And
push.
that's what we'll see.
We'll
We'll see
see.
how far you can push, and you have to push those boundaries, and it's by pushing those boundaries that we learn, right? But we can't be afraid to push those boundaries, because when we're afraid, that's when we continue to pull back more and more, and then that's when you get back into this strict culture that we've gotten into now, where people are so afraid of each other, you know?
That's your opinion, girl. And other stuff I saw, I don't know if you saw, Shrek 5 had a little snippet.
Do we need a Shrek 5?
I said no. I said no. Zendaya is joining the cast of Shrek 5. And I'm not pissed about that. I stand with every girl, man, they, them on social media who has said, this is not my Shrek. And I'm like, I agree, bitch. This is not my Shrek, because he looks
What's wrong
fucking
with
different.
Shrek?
They're all
Oh,
animated
he looks
different.
different?
They all feel different. They all just look a little like not as like bulky as like the OGs. The animation style was obviously different back then, but this is not my Shrek. Bring back my girls.
Oh.
That's what I really feel. I watched this little snippet and I was like, I really hope they do what they did with the Sonic movie and just go right back to the room, start cutting shit, being like, when people saw Sonic the Hedgehog originally, he did not look good to the public, and they redid so much. They retouched a lot. I really hope they say, let's look at the comments on the first look and see what people think, because they do have a different feel and like demeanor, and even the amount of frames it seems like they're using for this animation style.
Interesting. This
Right.
is a very so
It feels
they're
like
all
a kid's
back though, right?
cartoon.
Michael Myers and Eddie Murphy and
Cameron
Cameron Diaz.
Diaz. It just seems like it's built for like an animated kids movie this time, like teeny boppers.
Well, that's what it was originally.
It was for all ages. I felt like there was so much. Do you remember in the original
Oh, I don't like this Fiona.
how
What
much
happened to
adult
her face?
right? How much adult comedy was in the first one though? It was like
Yeah,
this is built for everybody.
yeah.
And then the second one, like wash your hands, wash your or that was the first one. Face. Like so many pieces that you would not pick up as a kid, but like the adults, they really pander to it. And they pandered more, I feel like, back then than now for family movies. I'm right now I'm skipping Shrek unless something real big changes up with that animation.
I like Shrek, and I'm hoping they don't kill Shrek. I hope they don't ruin Shrek. They've already
I
changed
know.
his appearance. I I hope they don't ruin Shrek. 'Cause
Well,
I like Shrek.
speaking of Zendaya, also we have a Euphoria update with Sharon Stone
Mm.
added to the cast, and apparently Euphoria is in production. So I think everyone's gonna watch Euphoria regardless. I just don't know how this season's gonna pan out, and it's been
Mm.
so long. It's been so long between season to season for a lot of things. Obviously, we had Strike, a few other things. Sharon Stone adds to the cast. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect
No.
that lineup in here.
Well, like remember they had like Eric Dane in it. Like I don't. They've had some interesting choices. Sharon Stone, I think. I mean, I don't know. That is kind of a wild card.
Another interesting choice is to drop the trailer for A Simple Favor in the time that we are now.
Mm. I have to say, it was a lot better than I was. I was expecting it to be bad and cheesy and campy, and not that it's not those things, but it also like looked good. And I was like, wait, am I gonna watch another Simple Favor on Amazon Prime? I don't watch anything on Amazon Prime, but I was actually like kind of interested in what this
I
sequel is
loved
gonna
the
bring.
original. No one asked for a prize of this. No one asked for a second. I think it was good. I think it's interesting at the trailer. It really picks up where they left off, and everyone looks and feels the same,
Yeah.
like demeanor, style. Anna Kendrick. Um, it's just very interesting again with everything going on that we're like, let's put out a trailer in this, and just there's no pushback. There's no like we need to release it at a later date. I think this is also probably in a PR relation of things, this would probably save Blake Lively's reputation right now.
Yeah. I think she needs it. They turned off the comments on this trailer so that
Really?
yeah, because remember the original post was slammed with negative comments, and that's ultimately what she screenshotted and then used to be like, "Look, there's a smear campaign. People are saying mean things about me in the poster reveal for another Simple Favor." So, in this release of the trailer, they did not open it up to comments, which
I don't know,
is
girl. I don't
interesting.
know, girl. The thing is, if it's that serious, why are we going to joke about it on SNL? That's just my.
Again, and that came up in court this week for our legal update. Brian Friedman, who's Justin Baldoni's attorney, reference because they're fighting for a strict protection order, and it's the strictest protection order you can get because they're saying that they want anything that's revealed in discovery or any of the evidence that gets brought up to be for attorney's eyes only, which is a very
Hmm.
specific type of protection order that's not very common. It's common in like say an IP battle or two businesses
Right.
that are fighting. You want to make sure that like the other business doesn't become privy to any of the discovery when it comes to original IP, because obviously you don't want them to steal your IP or steal your business practices. But in this case, it doesn't entirely make sense, and that's what Justin Baldoni's team fought back on. They're like, how is it that this is so sensitive, considering she leaked this to the New York Times and then just recently went and joked about it on SNL?
What a wild time.
Very.
Well, I think that's a pretty good stop to our podcast today. I mean, who knows? Who knows what another day, another life will bring? In terms of all those things that we just talked about, though, I will probably sadly watch White Chicks 2 and Another Simple Favor. And Euphoria because like I have to.
Why sadly watch White Chicks too?
Because I just feel like it's not going to be good. I just have a
Mm,
feeling it's not going to be good. It's not going to live up to the hype.
I agree.
I don't
I
know.
agree. We did get some Apple reviews though.
Oh, would you like to read some nice little reviews before we sign off?
We have one nice one and one mean one.
Hit me with the mean one first. Is it about you or me or both? I hate us both.
Both. This one comes from LTN Girl 444. 1 star.
Oh,
Don't bother. These two are insufferable. Have you read this one?
no.
Oh, these two are insufferable. Andy is just flat out rude, arrogant, and condescending. He also barely knows what he's talking about on the topics and is incredibly biased. Just wait, then it's my turn.
Oh my God.
Zack is a raging Trumper and racist and also incredibly biased. Their dynamic is not enjoyable to watch. Andy just scolds Zack the entire time like he's an annoying little kid. It's uncomfortable. Why would anyone want to support either of these people is beyond me. I wish I could give it 0 stars. Well, bitch, instead of giving us 0 stars, you gave us 1 and a whole soliloquy. So, fuck off.
You had enough time to write that, or you could have spent it on an ice cream date or something else.
You could have spent it listening to another podcast. Go listen to the last Culturistas if you want something basic and boring. And then we have a review from Sharpay 1970.
Wait, hold on. See, that's the type of comedy I like. That's the type of comedy where like you can poke it, like we said earlier. Like you don't have to push things, but I'm like the shock value of like,
yeah,
put it on. That's the shock value comedy I like, not the. Anyway, continue.
Sharpay 1970 says 5 stars. So good. Love listening to your show. So good.
Do you feel like I scold you like a little child?
I thought that they were way off about you. I don't think that you're rude or arrogant. I mean, you are a little biased sometimes, but I think we're all I'm a little biased sometimes. We're all, but that's the things that's like, they think bias is a bad thing. I'm like, everybody's biased. It's called having an opinion. You're going to have an opinion about something. Otherwise, you're a robot.
This is the Pop Report. You get 2 little boys sitting side by side, each with a little bias and a little different opinion. And then we don't talk for a few days, and then we come back and we're like, hey, girl.
And then I just like try to think of ways I could be more racist.
I just try to think of more ways I can put you down on a podcast every day besides calling you a little Trumper.
Mm-hmm. And more, you just have to be more condescending to me.
I can just call Megyn Kelly anytime
And
if I want to think
scold
of a
me.
Trumper.
And scolds me more like I'm an annoying little kid. That was a weird... That was a random. She really put some thought into this, though.
That was creative, though. I was like, this is like a really bad Chat GPT roast on 2 men at their home. Like, you really took the time.
Forcing you to listen
something
to
really,
this lady.
really set somebody off to go to the Apple reviews, type that in, really detailed, I must add, and go on their merry way.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening to the Pop Report. Leave us a review. Drop a comment. We'll shout you out next week. Enjoy your weekend.
If you hate it, leave a 1 star. Really read me to filth. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.